Hi, my name is Kate Meredith, and I'm the President and Director of Education at Glass Education in Williams Bay, Wisconsin. In September, I'm going to be moderating a panel for the arXiv Accessibility Forum 2024 on data sonification.
I'm Robin Williams. I'm a research statistician from Exeter in the UK. I have a PhD in statistics in the field of applied weather forecasting, and I now work in industry as a sports statistician, researching the use of statistical modelling to predict sporting events, make use of various access technologies, including speech, braille, and sonification is also a big part of my workflow.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Bauer. I'm a physical oceanographer at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts. I've been in this field for more than 30 years, and over that time, I have lost most of my useful vision. And therefore, to continue my research, I've been exploring different ways to display and analyze data. And one of those methods is data sonification.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kane. I am a PhD student at the Institute of Astronomy at the University of Cambridge. My primary research interest is in a field that we call galactic archaeology, which means that I use stars to help us retrace the history of the Milky Way, our very own galaxy. I also happen to be legally blind or have low vision, which means I can see a little bit, but not very well generally. And through that, I started an interest in what I call my quote unquote side gig in astronomy, which is sonification, which is what brings me here today. And in sonification, I've done various things ranging from co-teaching a non-visual data science tutorial series where we taught participants how to sonify their data, to doing some usability testing for Astronify, which is a Space Telescope Science Institute created sonification program, to most recently working with Kim Arkand and Jess Stosic and others to work on a paper where we survey participant responses to sonifications of NASA data.
Hi, my name's Scott Fleming. I'm an astrophysicist at the Space Telescope Science Institute, which is located in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States. My team works on the search interfaces for NASA space telescopes, which include Hubble, the JWST telescope, the upcoming Nancy Grace Roman telescope, the TESS exoplanet hunting telescope, and quite a variety of historical missions as well. As part of that, our mission is to make all these data sets accessible to the world for everyone to be able to benefit from. And as part of that, I've been working a lot on alternative ways of making that data accessible to people with different needs. And that's why I'm interested in sonification.
My name is Fia Damsma, and I'm the creative director of SonoKids Australia. I'm originally from the Netherlands, where I co-founded SonoKids about 25 years ago with John Nergaard.
Hello, my name is Leif Karlstrom. I am a volcanologist at the University of Oregon, and I'm really excited to be a part of the event in September having to do with accessibility in the sciences. I study volcanoes, and volcanoes are spectacular features that deserve to be both seen and heard. My work has been developing ways of representing volcanic data through sound, through the process of sonification, and I'll be talking about some of the techniques that we use to sonify data and how you might be able to use these techniques in your own work.
What is sonification?
Now, data sonification is specifically looking at the use of sound as applied to large data sets in science to both increase accessibility and to provide us with another modality in which to explore data sets. And sound and hearing have a lot of advantages over vision, and used with vision in the right way, developed with a diverse group of people, has a potential to incredibly increase our capacity to explore data sets in different ways. So the panel that's been assembled is a great group of people that you don't want to miss, who have a background in developing sonifications, working with large data sets, and the lived experience with a vision impairment. And so they're going to be able to talk to us about many of the aspects of sonification.
Why attend?
Some years ago, during my PhD studies, a colleague and I developed an R package that provides the ability to turn two-dimensional data, plots of data into soundscapes. The package can be used to sonify functions, for example, y equals x squared, or to provide an estimate of the trends and shape of data in a scatter plot. It has features that enable the user to identify areas of the plot that are of interest. For example, the soundscape can be augmented with white noise when the value of the plot falls within some predefined interval. Not only was the package a valuable asset during my PhD, it remains a tool I use regularly in my workflow today. At the Sonification conference session, I will demonstrate the R package and mention some features I would like to add. I'm also very open to ideas as to how the package could be extended and improved.
So why should you attend this event? Well, sonification is a great way of learning new things about a data set. It's also a great way of conveying information in an accessible way to a broader audience. And I tend to think about both of those things when I'm doing sonifications of volcanic data. I started the Volcano Listening Project as a way to communicate science as well as the sonification techniques. If you come to the event, you could check out volcanolisteningproject.org for some examples of our work. I'll be going through examples that are on that page, and so that will prepare you best for interacting and asking questions.
We're inspired to develop a new Bollyland app called Cosmo Bolly on SonoPlanet, where you can use sonification to hear shapes and identify where the aliens are hiding on SonoPlanet. And let me introduce you to Cosmo Bolly. She is the astronaut from Bollyland. And like all Bollylanders, she is shaped like a ball. So her helmet or spacesuit are white with red stripes, shaped like a ball, with red earpieces on each side, and she has a microphone and an antenna. And she is your guide on SonoPlanet, the weird planet that she discovered recently and where everything is sonified. So if you want to learn more about this app and about our way of accessible educational sonification for young children, please come and see us at the arXiv Accessibility Forum in September.
So why might I be interested in attending the event? Well, a lot of you may not know what sonification is or don't really know how you might be able to apply it for yourselves and people you know. Sonification definitely has a role to play in accessibility of STEM as a profession, but it's also very useful for analyzing and interpreting complex data, data that change over time in ways that complement and supplement and augment more traditional visual methods. It really is a tool that's underutilized and under taught across the field. And so by attending this event, you might be able to see some examples from professional researchers using sonification or developing sonification tools today and get a sense of how it might be useful for yourself or your teams or your students now and in the future.
As far as the use of data sonification in ocean science research, such as I do, that is in its infancy. And I hope to work with others to try to bring what has been already learned and applied in, for example, astronomy to a very high level to the ocean and other earth sciences where it's rarely used for research.
I really encourage all people to come to the arXiv's sonification session. It's going to be really informative, regardless of whether or not you yourself are blind, low vision, or work with that community. One of the things we speak about often in sonification is that even though it's often quote unquote like marketed as an accessibility tool, and in fact, the way I became interested in it is because it makes things more accessible for me, because it has this potential to make things more accessible. That doesn't mean that sonification is only useful to blind, low vision people. So this all comes back to this idea of universal design, this idea that sonification and other quote unquote accessibility tools are just useful for everyone. And so I would encourage people to come to the sonification session to learn about the broad applications of sonification, how useful it is and can be to many people, and why there's really good reasons to invest time and resources in continuing to make sonifications more mainstream and more flexible for many use cases.
Want to learn more?
So in 2020, Glass founded the Sonification World Chat, and we've been talking about how to create a highly perceivable and interpretable data sonifications for use in science, education, outreach, and career development for the last 4 years. So I am now the self-proclaimed den mother of data sonification, and I can't wait to see how this conversation in September advances our mission. So I look forward to seeing you here, and don't forget to check out all the other profiles of the panelists who will be part of this forum. For more information about the Sonification World Chat learning community that meets quarterly, go to sonificationworldchat.org. That's all one word, sonificationworldchat.org.